So, there's a lot going on in the world right now. From national politics, AI taking over the world, Mr. Beast's moldy Lunchables, to I don't know what else. I'm just filled with worry and anxiety, but none of these even pale in comparison to what I've been dreading. And what is that, you may ask? Well, you probably guessed it. A Daredevil TV series by Disney+. You see, I love Netflix's Daredevil with a fiery passion. It's probably my favorite TV show of all time, or at the very least in my top 3. So when it got cancelled back in 2018 after one of the most amazing pieces of TV I had ever seen, well, I was heartbroken. But there was actually some light at the end of the tunnel when we all saw Matt Murdock appear on screen again in Spider-Man No Way Home. Our really good lawyer came back to us. And shame on you for all of you who didn't applaud in theaters when he came back.
Sadly, when I went to go and see it, was dead silence. So, and it was packed, and so it was a real anticlimax.
Breaks my heart every time. But even though we got Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, something still filled me with dread seeing him return. And that's because, like, 80% of the Disney Plus shows that have come out have been not so great. Not only did the bad track record scare me, but a lot of the behind the scenes stuff did as well, from hiring really inexperienced writers known for holiday movies and a basic procedural show, to the main cast not fully returning and all the other troubled productions behind the scenes. My excitement quickly dwindled, but a lot of that faded away when we got the announcement that we were going to do a creative overhaul on the show after realizing how terrible this was turning out. The Netflix Daredevil officially became canon, the main cast is back. Also, Foggy better not die or I'm coming for you, Kevin. They got the same fight coordinator from Netflix, we got an actual showrunner this time, and some really great directors who did the majority of Loki Season 2, which is arguably the best thing that has come out of Disney Plus Marvel. Everything was falling into place, and the only thing left that we needed was the trailer. And thankfully, over the past few months, we've gotten several leaked trailers and snippets, and what did I think of them? Well, let's get into it. Before I get into the rest of the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and follow my social media. So there are 2 main trailers that have been leaked, but they're pretty much the same thing with maybe a couple more clips shown in the second one. First, I want to give my main first impressions, and that's that I really love the trailer. It feels like an actual season 4. The tone, the color grading, all the familiar faces, it all looks like what we would have gotten back at Netflix, and I'm so happy. We got a longer episode count at 9 episodes, a TVMA rating, the returning cast, like, this is just perfection. The trailer starts off with White Tiger, played by Camar de los Reyes, who sadly passed away last year due to cancer. But we see him dealing with a violent confrontation with some thugs and is facing some prison time. We see Matt talking to him, which is cool because we know that Matt will definitely be able to sympathize with White Tiger, who is also a vigilante that's trying to simply help out and do good for his city. I'm really curious to see where they go with the character, and I do already like that Matt is going to be an active lawyer again, because we didn't get to see that at all in Season 3. We have a couple of shots of him in a courthouse and later helping out Kamala's father from Ms. Marvel in some legal case. So that's pretty cool. I actually do like these small pieces of overlap that remind us that we are in a shared universe. It's preferable for me than to always bring in like a Ms. Marvel or some other big hero. Then we get a short snippet of Foggy and Karen by Josie's Bar, which was actually filmed by a lot of fans in New York earlier this year, where we got to see a lot of behind the scenes. We got some Bullseye action, Matt swinging from buildings, and a glimpse of that beautiful new red suit. All we need left is the DD logo, and it's perfect. I'm guessing that Foggy and Karen aren't gonna have much to do, as some scoopers have said that Deborah Ann Wall, who plays Karen, was only brought back for 3 episodes, which I'm assuming will be at the beginning and at the end of the show. Alden Henson is unknown, but I'm guessing it's either 1 episode or even less. I think this is because Marvel still wants to use a lot of the footage from the previous Daredevil show here because, well, they already filmed a lot of it, and of course they would want to save money, which is fine. But since the last show wasn't canon and Foggy and Karen weren't in it at all, it means they probably have to come up with a story reason as to why they're not in the show all that much, at least for this first season. So I'm assuming Karen has to go away for a while, or Foggy either gets killed or is put in a coma or something like that. So I'm just hoping that they don't die in the show. It would really suck waiting 7 years for them to come back just to watch them die immediately, so I don't think Marvel would do that to us, but who knows. For now, I'm just happy we get to see the big 3 together again. Next off, we see Jon Bernthal back as the Punisher. This one is particularly refreshing because we haven't seen Frank interact with Matt since Daredevil Season 2, which feels so long ago. By the time the show comes out, it'll have been, what, 9 years? What is time? But Bernthal looks great as ever as Frank. We see him with longer hair and a beard, and he's still not getting along with Matt. Classic. There are some story rumors that Frank will be hunting down corrupt police officers that are abusing his Punisher symbol, and it seems that Matt and Frank are going to team up again. I know Season 2 isn't fondly looked back on, but those first 4 episodes of Season 2 are just a masterpiece. And a large part of that is because of how well handled the Punisher is. From what we've seen, it looks like they're gonna do justice to the character, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next we get a few small snippets of Wilson Bethel's Bullseye, where you see him walking around in prison, escorted by some guards. I'm not sure how long exactly this takes place after Season 3, but it's cool that they're following up on the story where Bullseye's spinal implant thing works, and he's able to walk again. He obviously gets out later and attacks Foggy, Karen, and Matt at Josie's though. And then there's this other small snippet which looks really cool where we see Matt and Bullseye fighting each other in this dimly lit room. I think this fight is going to take place in a few different locations, and I'm really excited to see how it all pans out. It's probably the rematch I'm most excited about because I do think that Season 3 Episode 6 of Daredevil, where they fight for the first time, is one of the best episodes in the series. Bullseye was such a well-written character, but I'm not sure how big of a focus he's gonna be in this, but again, I'm just glad to see that he's back. There's a lot of creativity you can do with these two characters fighting each other, so I'm really looking forward to this rematch, man.
Next we get good ol' Willy Fisk, once again played by Vincent D'Onofrio. So he was someone I was a little more concerned about because the previous 2 times he's been used were Hawkeye and Echo. But mainly I'll be talking about Hawkeye because I didn't really watch Echo because it was kinda boring. Hawkeye did not treat Fisk with respect in my opinion. He felt like an ordinary mob boss who got pretty easily defeated by someone who barely knew what she was doing. No offense to Kate Bishop, by the way, I love her. Also, Wilson Fisk is terrifying more from behind the scenes and doing shocking things in sparse moments in my opinion. He's scary because you always feel his presence, but he sorta just popped out of nowhere at the end of Hawkeye and got beaten in a 1v1 brawl. Like, if you're going to use Fisk, you have to have him meticulously doing things in the background and slowly build up the presence. So hopefully now that he's back in the Daredevil territory, we'll get that back. And I think we will, since the story will revolve around Fisk running for mayor and inevitably winning. Having that slow buildup of him getting more power and getting that sense of dread is where he shines best. And I did have some initial concerns with this because Fisk was literally arrested 2 separate times in Daredevil and is publicly known as an active mob boss who has killed people. So like, how on earth is he possibly going to run for mayor, let alone win? I mean, that's a little unrealistic, don't you think? Oh, wait a second. Sorry, too soon. But back on topic. I think this rise to power needs to be done in a certain way though where it doesn't feel repetitive of seasons 1 and 3. So hopefully they can write it in a way that still feels fresh. But one of the first things we see with him is Fisk meeting Matt in a diner where it seems the two have come to a mutual understanding and a bit of a truce. It ends with Fisk giving this haunting laugh and Matt smiling back with this devilish smirk. Boy's a freak. It goes so hard and I can't wait for this scene and Fisk's return in general. We also know that we actually are getting Vanessa back, played by the original actress Isla Zerert. Previously in the rebooted Daredevil, she would have been played by Sandra Holt, who I'm sure would have killed it, but I'm so glad that Isla Zerert came back. She is Vanessa. The snippet with them together looks straight out of Daredevil Season 3, and it still feels so surreal seeing this stuff. I really thought directly following up Daredevil Season 3 would be impossible, but here we are. But I am so much more optimistic about Fisk and his relationship with Matt. It also seems these two will get limited screen time, which is how it should be and how it's always been, really. The times these two meet need to feel special and sparse. I love how Charlie Cox explains it.
You have to always feel like, were they to cross paths, they would fight to the death. They would destroy. It would be hugely explosive. So you have to, in the writing of a show and the construction of it, you have to limit the amount of time they can be together, or you have to give them real reason for them not to be together.
Finally, we get our first glimpse at Muse, who looks absolutely fantastic. If you're not sure who Muse is, he's basically this serial killer who views himself as an artist, even making paintings and murals out of the literal blood of his victims. We see Matt fighting him in presumably Muse's lair or whatever, and it looks pretty awesome. I actually am glad to see that this new show is utilizing Matt's gadgets and weaponry a little bit more. It's running a fine line of making Matt a bit more acrobatic and superhero-like without losing that grounded and realistic immersion that the Netflix show had. But I'm really looking forward to seeing more Muse and who's even playing him. I hope that they don't shy away from how graphic and intense he can be, especially since we now have the TVMA rating for the show. Charlie Cox did say that the show would be as dark, if not darker than the Netflix one, but I think that's something I'll have to see to believe, to be honest. I'm still scarred from Moon Knight. We end the trailer with Matt letting out that feral scream that was popularized in season 3, which again, it's a small thing that makes it feel like we're watching a season 4 of Daredevil, which I love. We even get this short shot of Matt swinging around with his billy club here too. I was initially worried about them leaning into this because I don't really like the idea of Daredevil swinging around like crazy, like similar to Spider-Man. I want Daredevil to feel like an ordinary dude, but again, I think they're running a fine line here that doesn't break that immersion. Just as long as it doesn't go as crazy as the 2003 Ben Affleck Daredevil. But I'm glad they're doing something a little bit different because it does make this new show stick out a bit and have its own identity to the Netflix one, and I think that's a great thing. So that's about it. I really enjoyed this trailer. I can't wait for them to finally officially release it. I don't know why they don't. There's been like 3 different leaked trailers, so they may as well just put it out already. It's coming out on March 4th with 9 episodes, so 2025 is looking to be a really good year. I'm really excited for this. It seems like the new creatives of the show have a lot of respect for the old material, and that we're really going to get something worthy of the Netflix show. But what did you guys think? Did you watch the trailer? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts? I'd love to know them in the comments down below. And with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.